Hey Internet fam. Just thought I'd do a quick update. The last one I posted was it was a live stream, and so it was cutting in and out a little bit. So I'm gonna take a video by itself and post it directly. I look tired and sad, and I am tired and sad. My life has been pretty great recently. I've been playing a lot of music and doing a little bit of freelance IT work here and there, and hanging out with good friends and eating good food, and my life's pretty good. But obviously the big situation and the big issue is, I'm Everett and Grace's dad, and I don't get to see them at all. I saw them last weekend for 3 hours. It cost me $500, and when they showed up, they immediately wanted to watch TV. That's all they wanted to do is watch TV, which tells me that they're watching a lot of TV, and I know they're playing a lot on tablets as well, which we know is not good for kids, especially when they were living with me. We were super focused on hiking outdoors, eating all organic, and etc. I brought them organic strawberries. They didn't eat them. They wanted goldfish. Goldfish, if you don't know, are those processed little crackers that have the highest level of glyphosate, a known carcinogen, of any product on the market. So they're literally, each of those little goldfish, I don't think it's an exaggeration to call them death pills. And they had those death pills in their backpack. And that product's illegal in Europe. It's illegal in Europe because it's a carcinogen. And yet here it's just like, oh, put it in the kid's backpack. And that's what the kids wanted. They didn't want to have fresh strawberries because they're not accustomed to eating fresh organic fruit. They're accustomed to eating processed garbage and watching television. That's what their life is now. They're being moved across state lines for a second time now, against my will. They're being moved from California to Hawaii to be stationed on a military base there. And as we know, military bases have a statistically higher incidence of physical violence, mental violence, sexual violence towards children specifically. So it's definitely not the optimal place to be moving children to, and yet that's occurring against my will. Again, I got to see them 3 hours in the last 3 months, and the visitation this weekend now has been canceled. By, you can guess who it was canceled by. It certainly wasn't canceled by me, and in fact, I had already come up with another $500 to pay for that visitation as well. And you're thinking, wow, $500 to see your kids, why? Well, because I have a restraining order against me. And you're like, well, why do you have a restraining order against you? Because somebody asked for a restraining order against me. And in the state of California, at least, they are granted sight unseen without any kind of legitimate trial, no evidence, no testimony, nothing. They're just granted out of hand immediately by the judge. In this case, his name was Judge Wood, and he was one of the foulest individuals I've ever met in my entire life. And he is making $200,000 a year of taxpayer money. So you and I and everybody we know are paying his salary in order for him to disenfranchise children and their fathers with zero evidence, testimony, nothing. I mean, literally, he didn't let me present anything. I said, yeah, I've got stuff to present. I got witnesses here to, testify to my character. And he said, I'm not gonna accept or acknowledge any of that. And instead gave me a 5-year restraining order against my own children. Now, keep in mind, I have no history of physical violence. I have no history of any kind of criminal behavior, no criminal record of any kind. I have no history of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, anything like that. And by the way, there are plenty of people out there who do have a history of physical and mental violence. There are people out there who have a history of drug and alcohol abuse. There are people out there who have more than one DUI. And those people, in some instances, are allowed to continue to be a parent, while the other parent who has none of that on their record is completely disenfranchised for no reason whatsoever. No valid reason whatsoever. I've never harmed or done anything to anybody ever. I am angry. I mean, what dad wouldn't be angry when their kids are being kept for them for no reason for years? And when you finally get a chance to go in front of the judge and say, please just let me see my kids, he goes, nah, instead we're going to give you a 5-year restraining order, because at that point it's already the status quo. And that's the way the legal system works. They just go with the status quo. So literally the very first time I lost in the court, it just snowballed, and I just lost every case after that. I spent $130,000 in this legal fight, which is every single penny I had. I mean, every single asset was awarded to the other side. All the Bitcoin, all the gold and silver, all the property, the Lexus, even the good violin. And as some of you well know, the other party in this situation doesn't actually play violin. So, yeah, so there's that. I am awarded 5 days of visitation, supervised visitation, all in a row, once a year, in the summertime. And that's going to cost $3,000 for the visitation. And it's going to cost me far more than that to fly to Hawaii, find a place to live, room and board while I'm there, time off of work, etc. In the meantime, I've had 2 legitimate jobs lay me off because child support services came after me. The one job, they just said, hey, listen, we got this mail from the child support services. You're still in the trial period here. It's going to cost our accounting team X amount of hours, a month to do this extra work. So since you're in the trial period, we're just going to lay you off immediately. So, and then the same exact thing happened at another place too. They're like, listen, we could deal with this, but we're going to have to either cut your wages or something, because somebody's going to have to pay for the extra work that it's going to cost for us to deal with all this. So, yeah. So, effectively, I have been completely removed from my children's lives. Almost completely. We have video chats twice a week, but those are discouraged. I already showed video evidence of the fact that the kids are not being fed before the video chat. So you can hear them in the background saying, I'm hungry, trying to get off the video call. And there's been plenty of times where you can hear the mom saying, I told you, don't touch that until you hang up with your dad. So they're clearly being encouraged to hang up on the video chats with me. And I think potentially, maybe, I don't know, I'm not there, but it sounds like they're actually being starved in order to encourage them not to talk to me. I've spent every dollar. I've fought every legal battle. I've been to the courthouse 100 times. I've dropped off reams of paper. I've interviewed 20 different lawyers. I've paid 10 or 15 different lawyers, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I don't know, Everett and Grace, when you watch this, I don't know what to tell you. I did everything I possibly could to be in your lives, because I'm your dad and I love you and I care about you guys. And I don't know what to tell everybody else. Our system's completely broken. My situation is not even unusual. There's millions of dads across this country in the same exact situation. Millions of them. There's all these fathers' rights groups and fathers' rights protests. And it's a big part of the MGTOW movement as well. Men going their own way. And, my story is not even unique. It's not even interesting. This is just par for the course, Here's a guy with 0 criminal record of any kind. Any kind. I've had like a couple of traffic tickets over the last 20 years. That's it. I'm literally as clean as they come. And now I have absolutely no rights to my children just because of some bad actors and legal manipulations and a legal system that is completely inherently broken. I don't know what advice to give anybody. Maybe move to another country before you get married, because this could happen to you in this country. And there's almost nothing you can do to stop it. There's literally not a damn thing I could have done differently to stop this. I fought it every step of the way as hard as I could. it's been 2 years and like, you know, probably close to $200,000 all in when you think about moving and being out of work and changing jobs and, you know, scrapping, trying to find work under the table because you're unhireable for a legitimate enterprise just because child support services comes after you. It's like, it's completely insane. This is the full update of everything that's occurred. I did have a 3-hour visit with Everett and Grace last week. They were so upset and so angry, and they missed me so much. They were just like physically like punching me, kicking me. Everett kept saying, I'm going to kick you in the face. I'm going to hit you in the face. And he was like hitting me a lot. It was really aggressive. They're very angry. They miss their dad, and they're very angry and very upset. And it was really hard because I wanted to let him, you know, hit me and kick me because that was going to be his last chance to see his dad for a long time, potentially, and now factually, since the other 3-hour visit that I already paid part of, is now canceled. And it's unlikely I'm going to get that money back. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, who cares about the money? You know, we're kind of talking about $200,000, a beautiful farm on the Oregon coast full of organic food that we were growing, and, you know, fresh eggs and fresh berries and fresh everything. And all that's gone. You know, they're eating goldfish out of a backpack going from Marine base to Marine base or Navy base to Navy base, you know. Everett told me a story where he almost drowned earlier this summer while he was being watched by his new stepdad. He said he was in the deep end, he couldn't reach the edge, and he was really scared. He told me about that. So, Everett and Grace, take care of yourselves and try not to drown in the next 5 years. And try to eat some fresh fruits and vegetables. I can't even tell them, hey, eat fresh fruits and vegetables. They just hang up on me right away. You know, I can't give any kind of parenting advice. I can't use any of the years of pedagogy that I've accrued in the education field. You know, I've been in education for the last 20 years, and my kids can't take advantage of any of that. Now they're just, you know, going from Navy-based school to Navy-based school, being taught whatever's in the book by whoever's getting paid minimum wage or whatever teachers get paid these days, you know. And they had somebody on board full-time with, you know, his whole heart into their well-being and their education, and he's just eliminated from their lives. Just eliminated. Just hard eliminated. For nothing. I did absolutely not one bit of not one malfeasant thing to anybody. And I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep posting videos. I'm going to keep posting videos from the road. Messages to Everett and Grace that maybe they'll get to see once they get to a computer that's not that's outside of the supervision of whoever they're with. I mean, it's not like they're being supervised anyway, right? They're being plugged in front of the TV, being fed goldfish, television, and glyphosate. That's their lives now. And they had a 24-acre farm on the Oregon coast full of organic fresh fruit, and stuff they were growing themselves. I mean, we were working in the garden and collecting free-range eggs, you know, from our own chickens. And you know, Everett could read when he was reading the Chronicles of Narnia when he was 4. That's like a, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade reading level, that book, and he was just devouring them at age 4, you know. And that was, you know, that was me being a stay-at-home dad and working on, you know, pedagogy and focusing on things he was interested in. I didn't even want him to read that early. I was trying to follow the Finnish model. The Finnish education model is vastly superior to almost any other nation. Academically, Finnish kids and adults do better than almost anybody in the world. And they advise not teaching reading that young, but he was super interested, and we'd be driving by somewhere and he'd be reading, you know, oh, Taco Bell, you know. And I'm like, oh no, you're getting the corporate propaganda, even living on the farm, unfortunately. But I mean, he was so motivated and so excited about reading that, you know, I wasn't going to discourage him, you know. Although I was focused on trying to follow the Finnish model, but that didn't happen. He wanted to read, and I said, okay, well, let's read, you know. And same with Grace too. She was really advanced at the time. I mean, she was only 3, you know. when they lost their dad, basically. And you know, she had like perfect diction, perfect pronunciation, and now she's still like, she's reverted, her language skills have reverted a lot, and it's just hard to watch two kids suffer who just didn't deserve any of this. The kids didn't deserve any of this, and they're suffering much more than I am. And I'm suffering bad. You know, I'm a dad who loves his kids, you know? And they're suffering way worse than me. And there's not a thing I can do about it. Not a thing I can do about it. Men have no rights in this country. None. We have no rights. And anybody can lose their rights instantly. All somebody else has to do is say, I felt afraid for my own safety. And boom, there comes a restraining order. And getting out of that restraining order, even a temporary restraining order, whatever, it's damn near impossible. It's damn near impossible. Any judge anywhere is going to go, well, they must have felt afraid for some reason. They're not going to believe that it's just a bald-faced lie, which in my case it certainly was. I've never harmed anybody. I've never threatened to harm anybody. I've never done anything wrong. And yet, look what happened. That's America in 2018. And I'm going to post this to YouTube, Facebook. I mean, I don't get to see my kids for a full year, till next summer. I didn't get to see them this whole year. Didn't get to see them last whole year. I got like very minimal visit that cost me like $20,000. Very minimal visitation over this year. It literally cost me like $20,000. It's supervised visitors are $60 an hour. Then you got to pay for the reports. You got to pay for the transport. And all of that was me. I had to pay for everything, every single thing. The other side didn't have to pay for anything. I had to pay for all of it. Completely 100% all of it. And I did. I paid for the maximum I could to see my kids. And Everett and Grace, just remember that, because those visits we had with Al and Gwen this year, those cost me almost $20,000. Almost $18,000. Other than that, Internet fam, I'm actually really doing great. I really miss my kids. This situation is just the most abominable, horrific, disgusting, vile, foul thing that can happen to two little kids, and it sucks. But other than that, I'm doing super great, you know. I've been doing a lot of music. It's been going super well. I mean, that show, we had a show on Monday. The place was packed on a Monday, and everybody was hooting and hollering and singing, and just, I mean, it was just so much fun on a Monday. I mean, that's my Mondays. My Mondays, I'm partying like out of control, fronting just an awesome freaking band, you know? So, you know, my life is actually pretty great, except for I miss my kids and I love my kids, and what's happened to them is a tragedy, a travesty, and so unfair to two kids who just didn't deserve it, you know? At the very beginning of this whole thing, I was like, look, if we can just figure out a way to bury the hatchet and do what's right for the kids, I'll do anything. That was my first email. And that first email, the response that I got was from Rhonda, who is their mother's sister, so their aunt on their mother's side, said, if you email us again, we're going to get a restraining order. Guess what? They got the restraining order anyway, and once that restraining order happened, it just snowballed, and I lost all of my rights. All of them. So, yeah, I'm angry, and I'm bitter, and I'm upset, but I'm posting to YouTube. I'm letting everybody know. So, other than that, my life's great. I'm going on the road. I'm playing music 24/7. I got albums coming out. I'm helping other people with their albums, playing strings and stuff. So, all right. Love you, Nerd Fam. Have a good one.